The UK drill legend Digga D is officially back home, and he just released his new single DPMO to mark his place in the scene again. The beat's got that signature UK drill bounce, but in a lighter and refreshing way, and in this video I'm going to show you exactly how to make them from scratch, including the melodies, drums, mixing and everything else. So let's get straight into it. Okay, so for the BPM, we're working at 147 today, which is the same as DPMO. And for the melody, the thing you'll notice the most is the strings. So I'm going to come up with a similar chord progression. It's really just two chords, but I don't just want to copy them. I'm going to use the Chris Hines strings, but you could use any orchestral bank. And I mainly want two chords, but I might finish on the root note. So I'm working in C sharp minor for this one. DPMO is actually in F minor. But I'm thinking we could start up here. And then to add a little bit of tension, I'm going to use the note underneath to bring everything up. We can just keep building on this. Maybe we could use these notes too. We could use that same process, just using some of these notes close together. We'll just make it sound a bit more dramatic. So yeah, with these notes close together, I'm just bringing down the velocity so they're not as noticeable. Let's extend these. We can actually bring some of these notes out. They don't all have to play at the same time. And then same with this one. I'm just gonna bring some random ones out. Not overthink it too much. Just randomize everything. Sounding a lot more natural. Could add some bass notes too. Let's copy this. Actually, let's bring this one down. Might even add one more top note. With the second chord, I'm just going to bring that a little bit lower than the first one. Yeah, there we go. So I'm feeling this now. Next up, I'm going to add some keys, but I'm not going to copy every single note because the keys might sound way too intense then. And I think I might use the soft piano from Labs. Yeah, maybe just these two. I'll add a counter melody at some point too, but this sounded sick. Only problem is these two are clashing too much, so I'm going to send them to mixers and I'll just EQ the strings where the piano's playing. If we look at the piano, it needs some of those low mids. So I think with the strings, we can probably cut the bass anyway. And then just duck the low mids a bit. Just to save a bit of room for the piano. And then in the piano, I'm also going to take out the bass. That piano just needs a little bit of delay though, so I'm going to use Echo Boy, set it to quarter note, just bring the low and high cut up. And of course some reverb with the Bright Hole preset. Okay, so the foundation's there. I really like the chords. I'm going to pull up co-producer on the master because this is going to listen to what we've done so far and then give us recommendations based on it, but with our input. So for example, if I type in, I might just go with soft vocals. We'll go C sharp minor because that's the scale we're in. And if we click this, it will actually listen to what we've made so far. So let's see. This one, you know. Straight away that fits. Perfect. This one's crazy too. Ooh, you know what? Maybe this one. I think this fits the vibe a bit more. Yeah, this is the one. So we can just drag that and it will already be BPM synced and in key. With vocals, I just like to process them a bit. I like to take out the high and low end. Then I think we could just add the same delay preset that we had on the piano. Let's try eighth. It's subtle, but now they're more background vocals. This one's hard as well. I might use that in the second part. Now that we've got the vocals, let's let co-producer listen again, because I'm thinking now we could maybe find some little accents or phrases or even a counter melody. What about piano run? I'm just gonna listen to some of these. This one there, just those few notes. Maybe not the beginning. Yeah, I think this one, that matches the other one. And I'm thinking we could take the first half and then let the second one play. You know what, just so this doesn't sound too soft, I'm feeling some vocals like this. This might just help with the energy a bit. We can keep both anyway, just in case, because what I'm thinking is we could even pitch the second one up an octave. So then we got this. Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, there we go. Kind of want to start with the drums now, but I'm thinking one more thing would sound good. Just want to type in accents and see which ones it recommends, because I just want some little sprinkles of melodies, like some arps or just something to play at the end of a 4-bar. Yeah, maybe we could take parts of this, just so there's something for a hook. Add some delay. Let's go to half note. And lastly, let's try the arp I was looking for. Yeah, maybe that one. Okay, I think I've got enough of the melody at this point. And I only really started with the string chords and the piano, and then co-producer handled the rest. You've probably seen me using it a few times, but it just makes it really easy to come up with ideas, because it actually listens to your melody first, and then it will give you suggestions from Output's library that will actually fit your beat. So a huge shout out to Output for actually sponsoring this video, because I've been a huge fan of them for a long time. So if you want to check out co-producer for yourself, I'll leave a link in the description so you can try it for free and get 50% off your first month. Really like this melody, but it needs to sound a bit more sampled. So I'm just going to split everything. I'll have one with everything, one with just the vocals and keys, and then one with just the strings and keys. From here, I'm going to render the master so it bounces everything together. And then I just want to resample it, maybe change the key and just come up with a chop. I'm going to throw it into Serato. Then we could create some chops. So yeah, just subtle changes there. Just mixing up the different pitches and then rearranging things here. I've also got the attack and the release up, just so it's going to sound more like a sample that's been chopped. Okay, for the drums, I'm going to use my Pyroverse bundle, which is my latest trap and drill kit. The kick, let's grab something punchy like this, and then we can grab a snare. It doesn't have to be the exact same one in DPMO. Just choose something that you like the sound of. Might just use something different sounding, like this one, and then we can grab an 8-weight like the spins. But with this, we're just going to make it quite shorter, and then boost it up. You can also just grab a standard hi-hat. Just something like this. And if you remember, the hat, our counter snare pattern for drill was always start on the first one, then you skip two, and then skip one. So it's still that same pattern, but it's just a bit more spaced out. And you'd have the same pattern with the kick and the snare. So for example, you'd add one kick here, and then you'd make the next two the snare, and then 3 kicks. And then you can have some hats underneath it like this. And then just create some bounce with the hats too. You can carry on with the hats too. Then you just want to play around with that pattern, swapping between the kick, the snare, and some bass sounds too, which we're going to add in a second. We'll throw in another snare too. Maybe something like this. Let's copy the hats too. Now for the bass, we can use that spins, and then I already have a bass in mind. So if I go to my Planet Drill bundle, I've got the short one in the 808 section. just that. We'll set that to cut itself. And then whenever I'm using two 808s, I just make sure the cut by number is the same one for both. That way they don't overlap if you're using them a lot. There's a lot of back and forth with the drums, but it also sounds like there's a Detroit style bass in there. And I really like this one from Pyroverse. Let's copy this, get rid of the first one. So that's going to be the main bounce for the drums, but from here you can just get creative with it, man. Play with different sounds, different patterns, and just see what bounce you can come up with. I always like to have at least a 16 bar pattern, so I'm going to group those together with Control and G. We'll just switch a couple things up. For example, in this one, I might add a slide 808 like this. Maybe another one here. These ones I might bring the velocity down, just have them rise up like this. I'm hearing one more different one. Let's try this. So the others are kind of short. I'm just going to add this longer one in a couple notes. Another one here. Alright, let's just level these a bit more. Everything's looking good though. There we go. I'm going to use that mid one instead though. What else could we use? I like this snare as well. This one, I'm going to layer that main snare, but skip the first two. So do it like this. Right, let's go to the Sacred Trap Suite. We're just going to add this clap, one of my favorite ones. See where to add it. Might just get this one here. Then I'm going to grab an open hat. Let's try this one. Maybe just one before that clap. I think we could add one more at the start here. Only other thing I'm going to add is a couple of hi-hat rolls like this for some extra bounce. Leave the first one. I think just these. And then just one more right at the end here. I'm just going to use that ender. Alright, I've just spent a few minutes looking through sounds to see what else I can add, but whenever I do that, I feel like I'm just trying to force it. So I think I've got enough right now. I'm going to split the drums by channel. All it needs is some arrangement. If you remember, we rendered different parts of the melody. So in the intro, I've just got this 8-bar section, just without any vocals. But part of me thinks I want to add the vocals straight away just because it's going to capture people's attention. So maybe this can go at the start of the verse. That can go there. And then let's bring this back for the intro. There we go. I'm just going to add a little filter in the intro just to cut out some of the high end. That way when the hook comes in, it's going to have more impact. And we can just fade it out like this. Even create some chops like this. There we go. Drop sounding high, but we need to save a few things. I think let's save these. Same with the open hats. There we go. Even save these hats. Yeah, then we can have this. In the verse, we can just cut a few things out. We'll save those open hats. And we could cut everything until these. Yeah, we'll save the hats too. Then I think we can copy this over for the bridge, but get rid of all the 808 sounds, I think. Could even bring this filter in too. Yeah, we'll cut these ones off. And then we can just copy that over, copy it over again, get rid of the drums here. All right, let's have a listen from the beginning. So we just got those chops with the filter on.
Cactus.
Yeah, that bounce is sick. You definitely hear Digga D on this. combination of all the 808s sounded crazy. So now we've got a verse section. We're just taking a few things out on the vocals. Could have gone crazy, added loads of fills, but I wanted to leave it like this. And then for this bridge, I just took the bass out and added the filter. So I hope you guys are feeling this one. If you were, then let me know in the comments. And if you want to watch more videos just like it, then click up here.